What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? This is Mal with the King's Court. I have the opportunity to be at the table with amazing gentlemen. Let me go ahead and allow them to introduce themselves.
What's up, everybody? It's Ray. Good to be here. Good to hang out with these fellas, fellowship on a very stormy but relaxing day.
What's going on, y'all? Andre Price. Looking forward to sharing our experiences, all of our knowledge, all of our wisdom with these good group of young brothers. Let's get into it.
Hey, this is Ron. I'm looking forward to sharing some biblical principles, giving some foundational stuff, and giving loads of wisdom. Can't wait.
Let's get it. So the last segment, we were talking about co-parenting. We were talking about fathers being fathers and not being allowed to be around their kids as much. I'm going to ask these guys a quick question. So should the success of parenting be measured by the relationship with the child or the relationship with the other parent?
Go ahead, Dre.
Dre, I see you. I
He's
see
already-
you.
he's
Hey,
already-
I
It's
saw
already
Dre.
clicking. It's
He
already
was
clicking.
like,
It's already clicking. He was ready to jump before you finished the question.
Can you say it one more time? Oh, I
Yes.
apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. Should the success of parenting be measured by the relationship with the child or the relationship with the other parent?
I definitely think it should be measured by the relationship of the child, if not both, because at the end of the day, what we're talking about is the product that you put into the world as a result to your parenting experience. Of course, both parents want to see eye to eye on that, but if you're going to measure me as a father and measure our child's counterpart, measure our counterpart as a mother, we want to look at the qualities that the child represents. You know, what values does she have? What morals does she have? How does she behave in the community? What do people say about her? What is her notoriety? What is she known to do? What does her integrity look like? If we're all going to base off, you should be able to look at the child and say, I could tell you had great parents. Very rarely do I think that somebody looks at another parent and says, I know you're a phenomenal parent, without knowing what the child is anything like. So I definitely think if you're going to judge somebody or grade somebody's ability to parent, you definitely look at the child that they produce.
Gotcha. I love that. What
Absolutely.
What about you, Ron?
Well, typically for me, I think it's, the framework of what type of environment you were brought up in, right? I was brought up in a two household. And I'll tell you right now, anytime anyone sees me, they see my parents. Why? Because I was brought up, number one, in biblical principles, right? So I already knew the Lord. My parents brought me up in the Lord. I had a relationship with God. So a lot of times when they see me, it's like, oh, you one of them Thomas boys. Oh, your mom is Alvira Thomas. Your mom is Ronald Thomas. But the type of environment we were raised in love. We were raised in love. So typically our principles were always that foundational thing right there. And so I think the success of me comes from how my parents raised me, how they brought me up. And they always brought me up, knowing that who's the creator and how we were raised in the house.
Definitely.
Train up the child.
Absolutely.
That's what the word says. Train up the child in the way they should be.
I mean, for me, you can tell that if the parents did a good job just by the kids, Like the kids are, like Dre said, the product, Like if you don't, I know for me and my sister, like everywhere we went, people were like, man, you guys are so good. And they would always come and ask our parents. And I probably guess you had the same thing.
Absolutely.
Hey, can we take Ray and Mo with us to go this and there? Because you don't need perfect parents, but you do need great parents, or parents that are willing to sacrifice and work hard and stuff. So, parents don't got to be perfect. They could be messed up, but if they instill those right things in their kids, you'll see it in the kids for sure.
Now, how about let's add, I know we were going to skip and go to the main topic, but I want to ask this. Say if two partners split, would it make sense by law to already start off with 50-50 custody of the child instead of fighting for it? Ron, talk to me.
It all depends on what point of the split it is. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to look at the parent's lifestyle, right? Is it conducive to where the child is at that particular time? For example, i.e., if they're in school, right? The predominant parent that's going to be schooling the child, it should probably spend the most of the time there, right? Then you have to institute, holidays, vacations, stuff like that. You have to be really proactive instead of reactive at that point. But ultimately, when it comes to, financial, responsibility, I think the father should always veer the most of that. That's just the way that I think it, because, the man is the provider. So just because they split, that doesn't mean that the child should suffer. You want to create a certain lifestyle for the child, and it should continue whether, you're in there full time or not. But ultimately, I think it's, it should be 50-50 at the end of the day. But I think from the financial, responsibility, I think the father should bear most of that at the end of the day.
So what if I'm gonna just throw it at, what if the mother was more so the breadwinner? Because there are certain situations, even like the last segment, one of the hosts, she was the breadwinner in that family. So would you say the father still should be like 50-50, or should that kind of go towards the one that's bringing the money in the house?
To me, at the end of the day, I always look at the why, right? So for me, in any type of relationship, there's been times where, throughout my marriage that my wife's made more money than me, right? But that didn't allow me to have a drive and to challenge myself to continue to get to that level. I mean, there's levels to this, right? At the end of the day. So if a woman makes more money than a man at that particular time, for me, it's a why, right? But then you have to get there, man. You have to get there. You can't make it easy. I think at the end of the day, you'll use it as a crutch. Oh, she makes more money than me. So what? Get your weight up. You brought that child in. Now you got to do something about it. I want to do better. I want to do more. I want you to have more than me, not just enough. We always end up being just enough when the mother makes more. Oh, it's just enough.
I like that. Dre, talk to me.
So I'm going to follow that up with a question, because you're saying if the mother is the breadwinner, does it make more sense to be with the mother? How many times have we heard about a relationship breaking because one of the sides, one of the two, usually I would say is you would see it being the mother or the wife. How many times have we seen unfulfilled marriages when finances wasn't the problem? You had all the money in the world, but as a person, you weren't there. When it comes to the substance, there's no substance there. You have all the money in the world, but the fulfillment is not there. The presence is not there. So do I think it should be based solely on financials? No, I think it's for what's in the best interest of the child. And when I say that, even if the mother is the breadwinner, there's just certain things that you're not going to be able to offer, like for a son. If the mother is the breadwinner, there's certain things that you're not going to be able to give a son a male's experience and a male's perspective because you have all the money in the world, but you don't know the male experience. I think that there's certain things that women are better at when it comes to being a mother, and there's certain things that fathers are better at or men are better at because at being a father.
Nurturing disciplinarian.
Yeah, exactly. So I think both sides play their role, and to try to limit it off of who's making more money. When it comes down to bringing up the child and training up the child to be a good, outstanding human being, you can pay for as much as you want. What substance, what are you teaching them? What are they going to take from you? If all the financials left tomorrow, what did you leave them?
How they going to act?
Yeah. So like what intangible things are you teaching them for them to be able to put on display and growing them as a child? If we take financials out. So regardless of the financials, I do think it should still be 50-50 because the child needs both parents.
I mean, I know in my situation, like it didn't start out 50-50 with my parents, but they were there at everything. So it's like, I think it was like a 70-30 split. My dad, he hustled during the week like crazy, working like 3-4 jobs and stuff like that. Mom, she still worked too, but we was with her during the week because she was more inclined with the school. She was more tapped in with him. Whereas my dad, he's more tapped in with, hustling, working in the private sector, all that stuff, being in IT. So he didn't have a lot of time. He in front of a computer screen, doing this, traveling here, traveling there, all over DMV, where my mom was a little more stable in her life. So I think to Dre's point, like, yeah, it can't necessarily be based on finances because one day dad might have it, then he don't. One day mom might have it and she don't. But as long as both parents are, making sure that child is equally yoked, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, if I could chime back in with that too. So just let me just give a little bit more context. So I ultimately understand where you guys are coming from because if I could just reflect, my dad worked, my mom didn't. So my dad is a 100% the financial provider, and my mom, he wanted my mother to be a at-home mom because she could raise us. We were one of 9, right? So with that being said, if there was a split, right? At the end of the day, like you said, if there became a split, how would the financial stability, where would the financial situation end up coming? So at that particular point, I still know at that point, my dad was still probably, hey, I'ma still hold you down no matter what. because I'm the man that this the lifestyle that I provided for you. So with that being said, I will continue to have that financial responsibility because I have these children and I want these children to have a certain type of lifestyle and I don't want them to have to struggle. And I also want them to show from a foundational standpoint, hey, the man is going to always be here and be the provider. That's how we're wired. We're wired to be providers. So ultimately, I still will say that this 50-50, yes, but still there's going to be a point to where when it comes to finances that the man should always be able to hold it down,
So,
regardless.
Ron, why is it, and this for everybody, why is it in today's world, even though the woman may make a lot of money or whatever, the man is more so measured by how much money they bring in, but the mom is measured how much time she provides the kid? Like, why is it aligned in that way?
I think part of it, just from like standpoint of our community, it comes down to like wealth, right? So when you're thinking about the finances, when you're thinking about the dad having to always provide, to your point, Ron, like I know with my family, a lot of folks, they weren't able to like really lock in and get jobs to a certain point, you know what I'm saying, when they had their kids. It took them a little time, you know, but once they did get on their feet, then it was like, cool, ball rolling, we good, I can provide, take care of all that stuff. So I think it's one of those things where it can't necessarily be measured on, for a guy, on how much money you bringing in, but your drive, your hustle, you know, your determination to make sure that your kid is straight. And I think that's the point that you've been hitting the nail on the whole time with everything you've been saying with the finances. And then with the mom, you know, I mean, we think of moms as caregivers. You know, it's a different day and age where it's like you have a lot of women that are like, I can get a nanny. Like, you don't want to take it? No, I get a nanny. Got to go to work. It's different, you know. Whereas, you know, in the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, like we started to see, you know, that like role kind of switch. But yeah, you know, I think that's, you know, that's my perspective on it.
Well, listen, no, I love it. But you know what? If you break it down, and for me, I think for me, just in context, I like to frame it on a different type of mindset. I think in any type of relationship or any type of thing that you're looking at, it works on a value system, right? What type of value do you bring to the table, right? What type of value? So, for example, let me break that down. Sorry. So the wife being, let's do that to the standard caregiver, right? You're gonna come home. You're gonna make sure the house is clean. You're gonna make sure that there's food on the table. You're gonna make sure that the kids are taken care of. You're gonna make sure that they have school supplies. All those intangibles that the man. So when he comes home, all right, and he's gonna come home to a home, it's gonna be welcoming. You're gonna come home to a dinner. You're gonna come home to that whole family environment that you created. That's what you created. So that value is, to me, is unlimited. So if I make $250,000 a year, that I'm able to make that and sustain that because of the value that you bring from the back end of it. Because they say what biblically, that you undergird your husband. You're a helpmeet, right? So when two become one, there's a system. You're going to work on a type of system. Parallel, how do we work well together? That's why you choose particular women. I choose you. You choose me. Why? Because we work well together. However that looks, however the framework of that looks like. So ultimately, I think it's just how much value do you bring in this union? Not every union is going to work for, but this particular union, how I work it. Me and my wife, we work on a great value system. Our value is I take care of this, you take care of that. I take care of the mortgage, you take care of the utilities. You take care of the insurance, I take care of the car note. We have value. We have a union. We have a system. So I think systematically, it's a value system that works.
Just so I'm clear, the question was, why is it the financial responsibility placed on the father and the home responsibility placed on the mom?
Yeah, so the measurement of it in today's world is the guy is financially bringing in for, as far as the kid, financially there. But time-wise, it's the mother. Not everyone, because that's not my, like, I feel like I'm both. But in certain situations, most situations, it's measured that way.
To an extent, I think that's just the natural way. Like, I think what's a very common quote that we hear a lot of women say when they're talking about this whole bringing to the table mess we got going on, one of the first things that they say is, that house that you have, I make it a home. And what comes with making a house a home is the value of caring, nurturing for the kids. That's if we're going to break this down to a 50-50 standpoint, their 50 is making sure that everything inside the house is taken care of. And the man's 50 would be handling everything outside the house so that there is a house to take care of. So when we talk about protecting and providing, I protect and I provide for my family. And that's what that comes with the financials. And when it comes to bringing down the love, the nurturing aspects, that's usually what a woman provides. I think lately we've been trying to get away from the whole gender identity thing. Not gender identity, but the whole
The
gender
traditional
roles. Gender
yeah.
roles. I think we've been trying to get away from gender roles. But if we're gonna break it down to gender roles, one of the things that women are better at is providing the love and the nurturing, especially in early stages for children, and the whole entire family. And not that it doesn't just stop at the child. It comes down because the husband needs to receive that same type of love and nurturing too. I think a lot of times when we're looking for a wife, we're gonna be trying to look for someone to feel that. One of the fulfillment factors is how well can we receive love and nurturing from you, because there's no age cap onto that. And then what we handle is the financials, the protection, and the provision. That's not limited at just finances, but it's definitely a big role. So why it's like that? I just think that's just the way that it goes back to my statement of women are better at doing mother things, and that's some of the mother things, and men are better at doing that father things. That's some of the father's things. It's just what your role is.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna kind of add my 2 cents to it a little bit. So I love it. Only thing that I may look at it a little bit different, because I remember growing up and then me seeing my stepfather and men in the area, like you see them going through hell. You see them like putting that mask on, not being able to show emotions. And when I would ask my dad, even as an early age, or my stepdad, who was my dad, I'm like, yo, why did you do that? I didn't know how to express it. My dad never showed me what to do. So that's why when it comes to the measurement, I understand the financial and the time, but I feel like that time part should not just be measured towards the mother. The father needs to tap in, because there's moments where our young ones, like my son, no, this is how you're gonna hit a wall. This is how you handle it emotionally. Express yourself. These things, because I wasn't taught that. I didn't learn that to adults. So that's why I look at time in it, and I'm like, I don't want his mom to be measured that, hey, this is no, dad, I'm here. Like I'm here. But no, I get what you're saying. But I'm saying
Like impact.
Impact, but also because if we're looking at it from a measurement of just financial, that means we're not there. We out there putting in work nonstop, working 9 to late. You can ask Quan at 5 o'clock. I'm like, bro, don't call me, don't ask me for nothing. Maybe here and
Home
there,
time.
but I'm locked in, and I made that a standard due to the fact that my dad he'll be arriving in at 10 at night. I can count on my hands as a child how many times we hooped. 5, and as adults, 3 of them probably was when we was adults. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that time should be that father need to tap into that, which you do.
Yeah.
You like I just saw you the other day running on social media with your daughter downtown. So yeah, but I feel like that measurement should switch a little bit.
And that's needed. That's needed in a healthy environment. So that's also, just to expound on, that's also what I was talking about in value, right? What type of value do you bring? So it's funny because I believe it was one of the owners in Microsoft. He had said on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., I will not pick up my phone. No, actually, it was one of the owners from Netflix. Just now I thought about it. Tuesdays, 7 p.m. until I think 9, family time. I don't care if Microsoft, Netflix is burning down. This is my time with my children, and my family, and my wife. Because sometimes when you have that level of success, right, that time is so important, and it's invaluable. There is no money value that you could put to that.
Yeah, it's priceless,
because
for
at the end of the day, if I'm sick or I'm dying, money's not gonna fix that. So it really doesn't matter. But the time, the impressionable time of creating that relationship, right, is what children need. That shows them value beyond money, even when you're at that level. So.
If it goes assignment, a man's assignment should be the financials. If you have to break it down, the assignment should be the financials. The mother's assignment should be the time and the nurturing. But that doesn't mean it's restricted to.
Right.
It's restricted. Yeah. So if we're gonna break down a bulk of the time, most likely a bulk of the man's time goes into getting the financials to create the lifestyle, but that's not all of the man's time. No, you definitely have to set quality time away to be a parent, so that you have a relationship with your child, and that way your child can't say, yeah, we had all the money, but I don't really know what my dad get to like
There's
that.
a lot of people out there like that.
I've actually had a story, man. And you know, it's very, very common with entrepreneurs. I had a story from somebody that I care deeply about. She was expressing some of her frustrations about what was going on in the family, asking my advice because, you know, you kind of want to talk to an entrepreneur on how to communicate with an entrepreneur. And she's like, we love our lifestyle. We love everything we have, but we want to have more time. How do I communicate having more time? And, you know, we had our conversation. At the end of the day, she was saying, you know, like, my daughter told me that for her birthday, she wants to go somewhere with the dad so she can finally get some time. And it's like, having somebody so young say that thing, it's like, he's like, man, I see both sides. Like, I'm doing all of this, but we're kind of showing up low in this aspect. What's the healthy balance? Because when we think long term, like, if I can handle this now, for the next 20, 30 years, we're going to be good. I just got to miss out on a little bit of this, which you can't really judge somebody for, as long as you're putting in the quality time. I think there should be like a minimum requirement. Like, do what you got to do to chase your dream, provide for everybody, but at least spend 6 to 8 quality hours or 8 to 12, whatever number you want to put into being just dad. We don't care about dad, the entrepreneur, dad, the business owner, dad, the athlete, dad, the rap, dad, the this. We care about dad.
We call those MOQs, minimum order quantities. Minimum order quantities.
Yeah. We need time as just dad, not dad just dad.
I like that.
Me too.
Me too.
I like that. Talk to me, Ray. What's your thoughts?
I mean, they hit it on it now, bro. Like,
Did we take all the answers out?
they hit it. Yeah, I'm new, right?
You're in.
they hit it on the nail. Like, I know, like, just where me and my wife are in my marriage now, and us getting ready to, you know, have kids and stuff. Like, going from I'm breadwinning, I'm holding it down, I'm boss. People coming in, what's up, boss? How you doing? To unemployment line. Hey, can you wash the clothes? Hey, can you do the dishes? You gotta be able to switch it up if you're a man until you can get back on your feet. So that's something that, like, I think is super important. You gotta be able to, as a dad, take one hat on, put another hat on, take another hat off, put another hat on, so that way when you do come home, it's peaceful. And the same thing with your significant other. They gotta be able to take one hat off, put another on, so that way if roles reverse, the peace is still maintained. And like you said, because it's a positive environment, now those values are there. Now the kid can really prosper and grow, regardless of if they got to deal with, you know, trials and tribulations.
Right on.
Ray, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Looking to become a dad, right? Do you feel that you're more so going to waiting until you're financially stable, or you feel like, hey, let's have a kid so then we can be motivated by the child?
Yeah, so this is funny, right? So we're
Good question.
This is funny.
Good question.
I like this guy. So for, like, my standpoint, me and my wife, we're going on like year 10 being together, but it's our first year of marriage. So we've really, like, sat down, talked about kids. At first, we was just super scared of the finances. Every day I'm looking on my phone, see a new article. Kids are now $300,000. I said,
it's close to like $1 million, bro.
you know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
So it's like, at first I was a little worried, but like now that we've, like, gone through a bunch of trials and tribulations, you know, me having serious injuries, her dealing with stuff on her end, and us taking care of, like, everyone else in our family kids. Like, now it's like, all right, cool. I think we're ready for it. Like, I don't think you'll ever be financially prepared for a kid to a certain standpoint, because it's just crazy out here. But I think once you're grounded with those values, you know, you have that covenant with God, with your partner, or whoever you want to bring, you know, this child into the world with, you go for it and you don't look back, and you just stand 10 toes and just have faith in that man up above to make sure y'all gonna be straight.
I commend you. I commend you because I love that you waited for marriage. And I'm only saying that because throughout the segment, there's going to be some questions. But, you know, a lot of times we bring children into this world, and this is not, I was one of them. You bring children into this world unprepared, knowing the foundational things that's needed. See, a lot of times you want that blessing into the world to be blessed by God, but the first blessing is bringing it in the right way. And a lot of times we don't. You know, we go around being fruitful, but foundationally, we're just not equally yoked. And that just allows so much catastrophe to be entered into the union, because then now you don't even know the person that you're bringing it into with is really ready. As you heard in the green room, I just wanted to jump in, but I just didn't want to waste my time. But you got to know who you're vetting. It's a vetting process, right? And so
100%.
then you figure it out after the fact.
Yeah, and this is like,
And then what happens? You realize, hey, I'm not ready. Put the baby back.
can't do
But
it.
now the baby's here.
Yeah.
So now you have to unravel something that's already raveled. And it becomes like you're working in reverse. Sorry, I didn't mean to take over.
No.
but I'm just saying,
No.
It was just like,
you got me tuned in.
yeah, but seriously, because I mean, the only reason I'm saying that, because a lot of times we look for help, but there's only one help, right? Him, right? And we always try to seek it other ways. Oh, let me get to this mentor. Let me get to that person. Let me get to this. But obviously there's like, oh, there's no book. There's no blueprint. Oh, yes, there is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there is. There's a biblical blueprint. And actually, it's so easy now. If you want to find something, you can go to ChatGPT. Hey, on a biblical principle with this, can you find this? And it'll give you the scripture, it'll give you the verse,
Exactly.
it'll give you the breakdown, give you the rundown, give you everything you need. And all you have to do is the one thing, and what? Apply it.
Exactly.
Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be challenging. Yeah, because we battling principalities, right?
And nothing
I mean,
good
at the
ever
end of the
comes
day,
easy.
Yeah, nothing's going to be easy. But then also with every test comes a testimony. Then in addition to that, though, right? If we were studying the book of Job, right? You're not going to be prepared, but there is a test. And not only will the devil ask God, can I test him? God will also allow the test.
100%. That patience
Right?
of Job is a real thing.
For sure. So
real.
then now it becomes a preparation thing, right? But then you're not ready to deal with the repercussions of what the seed that you sowed. Then what happens? Then what are you blaming? You got to blame yourself. You got to take accountability.
Yep. that
Now you
humble
have to
pie.
learn how to repent. You have to know how to get on the knees. You got to know how to get into your prayer closet. You got to know how to seek his face. You got to know how to come to him humbly with humility. God, I know I made a mistake. Now help me fix this. And then now let them steps become ordered. And then you got to start to apply these principles to your life. And then now you got to seek the right kind of counsel. Hey, put me in the right scene. Put me in the right setting. Now find a mentor. Now get the corrective steps. But you know what's funny? You want to go to point A to point B, but see, and it could be 100 feet in front of you. But then 10 feet that way you got distraction. 10 feet that way you got distraction. Then now that becomes, long. All right, good. I'm done.
Hey, man, he was hitting. It was cool. I like it.
I want to ask, what are everyone's thoughts on marriage? And I asked this question because I had a conversation with a few friends, and one of the things we were talking about is marriage is more so a piece of paper, but building a bond and everything with someone and those things. I mean, that's that. The paper more so if things don't go accordingly, now you got to deal with divorce and X, Y, and Z. But with this, you guys can just go separate ways. What are your thoughts on marriage?
I'll answer last.
Okay.
Very common question for me as of right now.
Why is that, Dre? Because you said that twice already.
Because-
I'm just saying.
because, like,
You said that twice already,
It's someone
Dre.
that's like,
Twice
man,
in
why
a year.
do you see yourself getting married? Are you
know
afraid
why?
of it?
This ain't his time.
Yeah.
It's not.
The seeds are being sown.
It's not.
Now we're watering them.
It's not the time, man. And it's like, so I used to think like, man, ain't nothing but a piece of paper. But I was spiritually immature. I didn't understand what marriage was on a biblical perspective to understand the value of it. So, and when people say things like, when you find a wife in front of her, that's merely scratching the surface. You got to really understand what marriage is on a biblical standpoint, so you can understand the consequences for mishandling the marriage and what's going to come from it. I'm not personally I'm not mature enough on my spiritual journey to be able to even make that covenant, nor have I found somebody I'm willing to make that covenant with.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of people, I feel like they know God, but they don't fear God. And when it comes down to fearing God, for me to make that covenant with somebody, understanding what I'm signing myself up for, knowing the consequences, and not being competent enough to withstand it, yet still deciding to go through it, I don't fear the consequences. There's a lot more spiritual maturity I have to do. There's a lot more maturity I got to do as a whole, in general, as a man, to want to sign up for that. And I have to find somebody who I feel like is deemed as qualified for me to want to do that with. I haven't personally found that person. But anybody who is of faith to try to limit marriage to be as just a piece of paper is not deep enough in their word to understand what marriage truly is. So, do I have a value in it? Yes. Do I see it for me at some point in time? Yes. As of right now, I'm not the person. Spiritually, I'm not even mature enough to want to handle that. I'm not signing myself up for that assignment. Right. I'm going to mishandle it. I'm not going to treat it the way I need to. And I'm not going to sign myself up to take on those consequences. I'm not about to face my creator about no girl that he probably didn't even approve of me being with in the first place.
Right.
So that's just my stance.
I want to ask additional question. This can be open.
There's a caveat.
Yeah, because and I'm glad he said what he said, because this is something that someone was asking me, and me being me, I was like, "Hey, Pastor, real quick, let me talk to you." In the Bible, where is it that says you have to have a piece of paper or you have to go to court?
What do you?
So in the Bible, where is it? Where does it say that you have to have a signed contract?
It doesn't say that you have to have a signed contract. What marriage is a covenant. That's why there are vows behind it, right? And a covenant that you have is something that God. Let me frame this a little different. Yes, it's a covenant, but it comes with a contract, right? So that's why, at the end of the day, when what happened was, men were marrying these women and then sleeping with other women. So what ended up happening was God had went to, I think, Moses and allowed a decree of divorce. And then Jesus had to frame it as to how it's supposed to be applied, right? With that being said, just tabling that portion of it, God hates divorce. He hates divorce. It was not his intent. If you look from the beginning in Genesis, what did God give man first? A wife, a woman from his rib. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we are not built to do this journey alone. We are not wired that way. We were not programmed that way. We were not born that way. We are born to do it as two. That's how he created. That's why you go further when the union becomes one. You go further. That's why he blesses the union. The union is meant to go together because you go further, you go harder, you go longer. The woman kind of like helps the man throughout the dilemmas, throughout the time, throughout the trials. There are going to be so many things that's going to pitfalls that because they end up having discernment. Where, like, for example, Dre has a vision. His vision is clear. I want to reach the lost at all costs when it comes to physical, and I want to reach 1 million people. That was his goal, right? When he was with his child's mother, he went further, faster, until what happened? The union wasn't, sound on biblical principle, wasn't sound, wasn't, whatever. We'll leave that part. But what ends up the distractions and all the different hiccups and then all the different things. But if you have a woman that's built in biblical principles, that you guys are doing the right thing, the right way, the way seeking his face and through everything, and it's just rooted in all of that, things become so much clearer, so much easier.
So, my bad.
No, go ahead.
So could you not have a piece of paper and have someone that just say, hey, I'm fully committed to you? And, hey, God, this is who I am. This is my one and only. This is all I want. Like, because, and I'm asking these questions because I really feel like somebody's listening. So I feel like the paper is more so the court getting money and putting their laws into things, because when you get married, it costs. When you get divorced, it costs. But that's why my thing is, where in the Bible does it say you have to go through the court, have these papers, get it signed, get it.
He's talking about like,
it doesn't say that, but it also says you have to obey the laws of the land, right? This because when man, so just go back, when man had this whole decree of divorce, right? Then that came into law. So now all these laws became framed within all this. So the reason it became like that is because we started divorcing. So then now we had to start implementing all these different type of man-made things. It's a man-made thing.
Right,
for sure. Right. Because like I said, again, it's just a covenant. It's a covenant. You go before God. You say, hey, this is who I choose to be my wife. Go through the vows. The whole book tells you about that. But we had to start going to the man-made things because of what started happening.
Gotcha.
When man got involved, it changed all the law. It changed things. Things started to change. It got implemented, got watered down.
Right.
Now became a financial.
Was skewed.
The whole framework changed. But you see in some of these other religions, which really, I don't even know why I'm going this way, but you see how that's why Muslims, they can go get married 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
They just they basically do, sorry guys, don't take this the wrong way. They just go and they go before however they do it, and they can marry this one, the other, and go marry, they can marry, walk out there with 5 wives.
So only reason I was asking that, one, because I agree with what Dre was saying. If you're not ready and you know yourself, I feel a lot of people jump into it due to the fact of having kids, due to the fact of, are we good now? Those things. But in all, they're like, I know I'm not ready. Every time I see Miss Parker walking by, she got my attention. You know what I mean? I know my lust is, you know what I mean? But so I agree with him. But then I was looking at the paper aspect, and me reaching out to a pastor, right? I won't say no names. There was never an answer. It was always, well, and I'm like, don't give me well, because the Bible is supposed
Give me
to
black
be
and white.
it's supposed to be the book.
Right.
Like don't. And if anybody know,
Yeah.
So can I reframe the question then? So you saying, just to comment off of Dre, so when you say you're not ready, and you said you used a word like maturity.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not
No,
ready.
I'm just saying overall.
Oh.
Just saying you're not maturity ready, but you have to take that and frame it like this: if you're ready to bed the woman, you have to be ready to take the ultimate step, because what happens is you introduce different things that'll make you more not ready, right? So if you want to be ready, then that comes with the sacrifice. If you ultimately want that goal to be, hey, I want to have a wife, ultimately that's going to come with, well, number one, a sacrifice, and number two, a commitment. Commitment not only to yourself, but a commitment to God. So if you want to get ready, we're never ready, but we got to get ready, because we're supposed to do this journey without helpmeet, right? So that takes with sacrifice. So if you ever want to get ready, just know it comes with ultimate sacrifice. So you'll never be ready, because you have to change some things.
I don't want to sound like the wrong person on this here platform.
No,
No,
be who you are.
But I'm going to be who I am. But I don't want to sound like the wrong person on this platform. I don't want to get blown up in the comments.
You're going to get blown up regardless.
after that, please comment.
Comment.
But
KH podcast, KH_podcast, Dre.
the place that you're speaking from, you're saying you will never ever be ready. You know, you gotta make these sacrifices. You gotta get ready. Da, da, da. I'm not interested in getting ready for that.
What are you interested in?
When I get that answer, I'll let you know. But as far as vetting a person, and for you to get ready for that, first off, when people say that, you know, marriage is just a piece of paper,
They don't say that.
a lot of people do say that.
A lot of people that don't understand what marriage is say
Yeah,
that.
and that's what I was saying. Yeah, like people who don't understand what marriage is biblically will discredit a lot by saying it's just a piece of paper. Not understanding what it is, you know, I think one of the reasons why people would believe that marriage is just a piece of paper is because God was never the foundation of the relationship that they had with the opposite person to begin with. So you can't really seek God's approval for something you can't really seek God's place for something he wouldn't even approve of. Everything you were talking about, you know, you don't just get ready, da-da-da-da. That has to be in a place of someone who is interested in making that step. I can't tell you exactly what the interest is. I just know it's not really there. I'm not really going to receive a fulfillment in that aspect. And I understand I will go further when I have the wife, but that vetting process, finding that person is a complicated process. That's not an overnight process. There's a lot of things that have to be sacrificed in order for me to get to the place to find that person, and eliminating those would be the first step I'd have to take when I'm willing to take that step. But I have no clue as to what direction I'll be pointing into. It's like, if from all the people I know right now, I don't have anybody I would go through that journey with currently.
Personally, to unpack things like that, for me, the man has to have a made up mind.
Yeah.
Right. So that comes with a certain level of maturity. And I know for me, it took a long time, but if I'm reflecting back now on where I was as to my mindset then versus to where my mindset now, I know I'm 50, but even at 35, right? Because I'm in my second marriage. First one wasn't really a marriage to me because I didn't understand I wasn't rooted in those type of principles. I was rooted in just trying to do the right thing. But I'll say this: when you're ready, you'll probably never know. But when I say get ready, I'm saying that because life is very short, and you want to take everything that life has to present. And if in the beginning, right, because God tells you in the beginning, He gave a man a woman. Our role isn't to like bed all these women, even though King David, King Solomon, they did that. But at the end of the day, right, if you want to enjoy life to the fullest and really kind of see what the other side looks like, because the way that we're doing it, and but the way that things are seen from a perspective of immaturity or lack thereof is a misconception, because we're seeing a lifestyle that isn't really a lifestyle that's really for us. That's a lifestyle that's frameworked of how the enemy wants us to see how the life he wants us to think that's what life is for us. That's not what life is for us. Well, life for us is way bigger than that. We have small minds in a big pond, because at the end of the day, if you kind of like conceptualize and like really see and really start to seek where do you want me to be and what does life look like for me for real, you won't have that mindset. Because you'll be driven to like, I want to see where that's going, and not where, I don't think that I'm ready because of this, that, and the vetting process. No, you're supposed to enjoy that. It's supposed to be an enjoyable process, especially when you're selective in who you pick. When your selection becomes very narrowed down and you know what you're looking for. Hey, Lord, put the right woman in my life and put yourself in the right environments. It becomes like, oh wow, damn God, I didn't know that was wow. And you'll meet a woman that'll teach you some things that'll blow your mind. Like, wow. I didn't mean to go off.
No. I want to, Ray.
No.
I want to ask you a
He
question.
right there. Ray know what's up.
Yeah,
no, Ray know what's up. Ray know what's up.
I'm like, say it, brother.
Ray.
Yeah, brother.
What made you know your wife was the one?
I didn't know, but God let me know. Like,
amen.
When I say it's I forget the name of the song, but it's dude says it. Only God gonna let me know. Like it's a fact. Like it's a fact. Like I talked to I think like 3 or 4 other girls in my wife's class when we were all in high school before I even met her.
Wow.
I didn't like you're not gonna be able to go out and find a woman. God's gonna be like, here's the beacon. And then it's your job to get from point A to B. So part of getting from point A to B is, all right, I gotta make up my mind on what I want. I'm a dude where I went from I want everything. I want to be on the stoop. Kids good, wife good, couple dogs, farm. Done. Come over, grill. Come over, shoot guns. That's it. And then pray. But it took a long time for me to get there. I'm going to Japan. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a girl over here. You can't focus and lock in with your purpose or, like we talked about the other week, your destiny if you can't make up your mind at the beginning of the journey. Then, okay, I made up my mind. I know what I want to do. Now you got to pray. You got to pray. Like, there were so many days where I'm like, God, I don't know what I do. I done wasted $2,000 on this girl. I done done this over here. I done wasted time. I could have gone and got recruited to play overseas over here, but I was trying to talk to Shorty who thought it. You got to pray, and you got to be like, God my light, be the light, God my path. Keep me on that straight and narrow, and keep me, most importantly, that third aspect, discipline.
Come on, somebody.
Once you got those 3 main things, you just couple conversations, a little glass of Merlot away from locking it in now. But it's not, you're not leading with that glass of Merlot, sure say. You know what I'm saying? You're leading with the fact that you want God to bless you with that life partner. And then from there, it happens. Like my mom and dad, they both have had other relationships after they got divorced, and they've been healthy. And I've learned things from their new significant others and the people in their lives, but it takes time, like you've been saying. And one thing I don't want you to think is wrong is that you understand where you're at, and that most folks, they don't. So I give you kudos, because I know if I was in your position, I wouldn't have the, heart to say that. So I respect you for that. So don't. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Those 3 main principles, and then with that little glass of Merlot.
So, you know what? I'm gonna throw some at Ron and Ray, and the question is: a lot of times, we have to sacrifice a lot in order, or not we, because I'm not married. A lot of men have to sacrifice a lot and fit the mold for the missus and get married. But there's things that we need that we're not receiving, and we push it in the back. What does that look like? Have you experienced that, or how do you tell your significant other, hey, we're both walking down this journey together. So this is what I need. This is what you need. Let's help each other out. Because I see a lot of men, I need X, Y, Z, but she doesn't provide it, but they still get married.
You want to go first or you want me to go first?
Yeah, Ray, you on a roll.
Cool. Why not? Why not?
Ray on a roll.
Well, obviously, I think if you really, if God really blessing you with that life partner, one, let's say, for example, like with me, I used to smoke cigarettes heavy because life was just hard. When I got with her, first thing you say, if you smoke cigarettes, I'm not talking to you. That's God speaking through somebody to say, hey, I need you to cut back on this. I need you to fix your life. I need you to switch it up. Now, if we're talking about the physical aspect, bed, making love, all that stuff, then yeah, I feel like you need to be able to comfortably and confidently communicate what you want out of that relationship. But back to what you said earlier, you shouldn't be even thinking about that if you're not willing to take that ultimate next step with that person. So there's a little bit of compromise, there's a little bit of sacrifice, but if it's definitely something that you see long term that you've prayed on, then everything in that relationship is just going to be for the better of you, because it's going to help you elevate your mind. If we're intimate on a regular basis, but it's not like how some of these girls are saying, I need it 2-3 times a day. Like me, at this point now, going 1 year in, that's insane. I don't get that. I don't get that.
Ray, leave that. Don't be putting that out there.
That's insane.
Some of these guys want 2-3 times.
I get it, bro. To each their own. Like Dave Chappelle, everybody have fun, funny. All right.
But Ray, I heard you say, she said for you to stop smoking. And I'm looking at it, I want to look at it from another angle. Okay. Outside of intercourse and all that, but if there was something that you needed of her to stop doing, and she said no, would you still get married?
If it's something like a bad habit, if it's something that like is very foundational to my values and stuff like that, absolutely not. Okay. Because it's like, it goes back to what Dre said, it's standards. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have certain standards. You're going to have certain values. And if you're going to fold every time somebody says no, then what are you really standing on?
Gotcha. Talk to me, man.
I just had a thought, because I received some feedback from my mentor around the time that me and my daughter's mom split up. And without getting into too much detail at all, one big piece of feedback that he offered me that I'm going to take with any relationship I have moving forward involving a woman. And he said this is one of the reasons why most marriages fail. Because I believe the question was something along the lines of, if you're not getting something in a certain aspect, would you still go on with the marriage? I personally feel, this is just my opinion, I personally feel like that's just the wrong way of thinking to go about things, because that's an easy door to make things transactional. Right? I like that. As to that's good. Like if you're not operating in a certain way, because a lot of men can relate to the women saying, if you're not operating in a certain way, I'm not going to love you a certain way, which makes things transactional. And the concept that my mentor told me was, a lot of marriages fail before they even have a chance to get started, because one, if not both sides, stopped operating in the space of what can I do to serve you, and started transitioning into what can you do, what you're not doing so-and-so for me. That's powerful. You're not doing so-and-so for me. And once that thought process gets involved, you're already set up for destruction, because there's an easy opportunity for that to keep opening the door. You're not doing so-and-so for me, so I'm going to hold back my love. But there's a slight chance that it might never be enough. There's going to be a next thing. Well, now you've done this, but you're not doing this. And you're never going to be perfect. You're never going to be hitting all the marks. And if you're going to give somebody love based off of the marks that they are or not hitting, there's really never going to be, you're going to be running a race that you can't win.
You're setting them up for failure.
Yeah, you're setting them up for failure. Like, there's no way I can possibly win this. But I should never even be in this place, because we should be operating from a space of, what can we do to serve each other? Not, I'm not getting this out of you. That's not a healthy marriage principle, in my opinion.
No, well, Ray said something like good too. When he talked about compromise, I mean, I think in any healthy marriage that there's sacrifices and compromising, right? Learning and knowing how to compromise. There's a gentleman, his name is Latarius Whitfield. He has a podcast, and he was in his podcast stemmed from him being in a relationship, in a marriage, and then I believe she had cheated or there was some infidelity, but then he became on this journey to find his wife, and it's a very, very good podcast, and it brings on a lot of married couples that struggled and had struggles. And he had said something one day that really like touched me, and it really kind of like changed my mindset in regards to how to serve my wife. One day he was like, you know, if you see your wife taking a shower, right, don't just go get her a towel. Go put the towel in the dryer so that when she comes up, she has a warm towel. That's going the extra step. That's going the extra mile. They say, oh, it's the little things, right? And another thing Denzel Washington said too, one really important thing that I kind of try to implement. He says, take your slippers, put them underneath the bed, so every morning you have to get on your knees, and the first thing you should do is pray. Now, a real key cog in that is when you implement foundational prayer in your home, because that's saying a family that prays together stays together. Like, yeah, there are going to be challenges. There are some days that I don't like my wife, but you know what? I love her. So what that means is love comes from a concept of Jesus, like Jesus loved the church. Why do you think he says that? Because that was the ultimate sacrifice. He died for us. Yeah. Would you die for that? Like, look at that sacrifice, right? So what does that really kind of look like? So when there comes times where you're looking at your marriage as a whole and there's going to be a lack thereof throughout, there has to be a drive, especially being the head. You are the head. You have a responsibility. So when things get out of kilter, you have to know how to get them back centered, right? Of course, i.e., biblically, right? Look at the Bible, find some things that you can start to apply in your relationship, foundationally speaking. That's why you got to choose the right woman.
Yeah, man.
Right? You guys have to be aligned and, of course, equally yoked, right? Like my wife, man, she's amazing. And I'm going to tell you why. Because she taught me, showed me, sorry, she didn't teach me. She showed me, honestly, what that real love looked like. Being selfless. My wife has the best serving spirit in the world. Dude. Like, seriously, like, I can ask my wife for anything. And yes, it comes with a caveat sometimes. But, I mean, ultimately, it just looks like, wow, you have a good woman. Yeah. Yes, I do. And she does it, and it's not fake. It's throughout, for the children, for me, for her mom, for her dad, for whatever. Ultimately, all I'm saying is this. At the end of the day, sacrifice, biblical principles, knowing what real love is, ultimately, what love is, right, from here, not from here. Love isn't just words. It's an action. What does that action look like? Selfless, ultimate sacrificial things, small things. You know, when you put a lot of things in a toolbox, the small things like heating up the towel, things that she likes, make sure her car's washed, make sure she has gas in her car. Lunch, the small things, like bring her lunch, put little notes in drawers as she go and saying, I love you, have a great day. Like those small things, put tools in the toolbox and they add up. How do you keep the love? How do you keep the fire burning? Stop being boring.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to ask you guys one question in 30 seconds. I need you to give me your honest answer. Which one is harder? And Ray, this will be future tense for you. Which one is harder? Fatherhood or being married?
Can I say one thing before we get to that topic?
Talk to me.
I feel like I can save somebody's marital beef right now or contribute to it. I just want to speak from my personal experience because you touched a lot about what genuine love is and what's often, in my opinion, overlooked. It's not just loving somebody when they're doing everything you want them to do. It's how strong, how long, how do you have the stamina to love somebody when they're not doing the things that you want to do? Because when you say, like, you know, as they love the church and things like that, because God's love knows no bounds. You know, we will constantly do things that he don't want us to do, but we receive love overwhelmingly regardless. So when it came down to when my mentor was telling me, you guys lost the whole significance in the whole process of serving each other and started thinking about what am I getting from the other person? What am I not getting from another person? we weren't loving each other in the aspect throughout the times of I'm not getting this. So when it becomes performance based, it's like you're not doing this, and the conversation wasn't like you're not doing this, you're not getting as much love from me. The conversation should have been I love you despite me not giving this, and I'm just vocalizing what the issue is. So when you hear a lot of married couples say we don't fight each other, we come together and fight the problem.
I love that.
We didn't come together and fight our problems. We started thinking about, well, I'm not getting this, you're not getting this, and we became all of this, and our whole value just went completely out the window day by day. So anybody who might be watching this, who might be going through some type of marital beef or whatever, remember the concept, the true principle, the substance of it should be, what are you guys doing to serve each other despite what you may or may not be getting? Can you love your partner through that?
Preach.
That's what a successful marriage, and I though I don't have a successful marriage, I've had many relationships that I thought was it that I wasn't able to make happen because of the mistakes that I did make. And I would hate somebody who's very far in their own experience, have their experience capped off, because when I have the opportunity to share something with them, like fight your problems as a unit, as a covenant, and stay away from that evil spirit, that enemy spirit of what does this person do for me? Replace those thoughts with the thought of what can I do to love this person and serve this person, even though I may not be getting this. That's just a little 2 cents I had to say because it was just sitting
I
on my
like
heart.
that.
So which one is harder for you?
I know.
Or
Right?
which one would be harder for you? Marriage
Fatherhood
or fatherhood?
Marriage or fatherhood? Marriage.
Okay.
100%.
Right.
For me, probably, I would say, and it's weird because I've always been like really good with kids. I honestly would think fatherhood would be just because of I know all the problems that I gave my dad. But at the end of the day, I think when you have that strong unit, that'll make being a father a little bit easier. You know, it's not gonna be easy, but you'll be able to roll with the punches a little better. Where you know you get a ball out of left field from your kid, because I already know.
That's
Like
good.
I see it on people's faces that I'm around.
That's good.
What about you, Ron?
Oh, definitely fatherhood.
Fatherhood.
Marriage isn't hard. Marriage is rooted. My marriage is rooted in biblical principles. I love my wife, and it's actually fun. We have some times, but it's. I'm not doing it alone. I gotta help me. But man, fatherhood, forget about it. Them kids drive you crazy sometimes. You don't know what they're doing.
Can I make note on something? The two married men said that fatherhood would be harder.
I was gonna say that. I agree with you.
My bad.
But he doesn't know. He doesn't
So
have
I
a reference
don't know.
point. He
Yeah,
doesn't
I
have a
don't
reference
know.
point.
And
Sure.
to me, being a father is so natural.
I
I
agree
ain't gonna
with-
never
I
not be
agree
a
with
dad,
him, but I'm not
but
married,
I might
so-
not be married.
And you have a young child though, so you still can control what happens with her,
Right.
what she does, where she goes, how she gets there. You're not worried about cars, driving, clubs, bars. That's a whole different animal.
Hopefully we not. Well, I want to get there because I want my son, but he's only 4 now. So
Y'all
I'm
good. Y'all
following
good.
you, my boy. I'm following you.
These, I'm gonna tell you, 99% of these is from my daughter.
Oh man,
Real
Well,
talk. I love you, daughter.
So let's go ahead and reintroduce the panel. These gentlemen. We'll start with this gentleman down here. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm Ron. I like long walks on the beach. I'm married to Tina Thomas. One quick plug. I just want to let you gentlemen know this book, 365-Day Devotion, helps me stay grounded and rooted. Go get it. It's Amazon.
Love it. The name of it?
It's called 365 Devotional to Start Your Day. Jesus First for Men.
Gotcha.
It's powerful, powerful.
I'm also going to offer a biblical perspective because me and my brother here and a couple other brothers, we've been diving deep into the book of Job, and I highly recommend to anybody take time to dissect that. My name is Andre Price, a coach out here from Tampa, Florida, in Tampa, Florida. If I'm going to leave you guys with anything, one, get into your word, two, really dive deep into that book of Job. It's life-changing.
Patience of Job. I'm Raymond again, or Ray. And just glad I was able to fellowship. You know, God brought us all together to speak on some really nice, interesting, and important topics I think, we need to hear more of. And, can't wait to see what the comments got to say.
Absolutely. So I'm Malcolm, King Mal, whichever one you want to call me. But I enjoyed this panel. I appreciate you all. To the audience that's listening, look, we don't have all the answers. but it starts with the first conversation. And this is what that looks like. See you guys at the top, King Court.
Peace.